afternoon, subscribers, and welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Josh. We will be making some delicious food today, but before that begins, welcome to the second season of Cooking with Josh. Now, the first season was the season during quarantine in my cooking class and my entrepreneurship class. Now, this second season is part of my innovations class. As part of this innovation theme, we are in the original test kitchen, which has great lighting. It's got another camera here that you can't see, but we'll be able to get some great angles. I'll be able to make the video hopefully much faster than I did last time. And overall, we're gonna make some great shots. You may have seen my Babson supplement video that I did. You were able to infer I am applying to Babson, and that Babson requires you to make a supplement video talking about the moments that brought you to Babson. I hope you enjoyed that video, even though it came out of the blue with no context. To celebrate the start of hybrid school, we will be making some delicious sandwiches, going over the types of sandwiches, going over Philistine, terrible sandwiches, and going over excellent, delicious, sophisticated sandwiches. Now, you would think that a sandwich is something you can't mess up, and yet I see people messing it up all the time. I'm looking at you, everybody. Now, you heard me mention uncivilized sandwiches, and these two are the biggest culprits. These are two of the most classic sandwiches that people make all the time, and they're quick and they're easy and they take like 2 minutes, and they're fine for most things. But if you have like 5 minutes and you choose to make these, then you could do better. Now, the first one, look at the camera too, is the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's the workhorse of the sandwiches. It's so unmusical, a sandwich. It's so perfect in its simplicity. You could use it as a breakfast food, you could use it as a dinner food, you could use it as a snack. I tend to use them as snacks. They're all around a perfect sandwich, and yet not a meal sandwich. The second sandwich, and this is the one that really gets. If you're gonna eat a lunch, you're gonna prepare a lunch, and then you just do cheese, and then ham, and then more bread, and then that's it. It lacks texture, it lacks music, a certain je ne sais quoi that it could have, and that it just doesn't. This is a travesty. This would make the Earl of Sandwich disappointed. We can build on these, we can innovate on these sandwiches, and that's what we'll be doing today. Now, you are an artist. Don't blotch your canvas with these sandwiches. Alrighty, everyone. Now it is time to create the sandwich. We're gonna start with 3 cheeses. Then we're gonna go with a ham. Then we're gonna put some delicious fresh lettuce on top. We're gonna go and put some mayo, olive oil, and some vinegar, some spices. First step is to toast the bread with the cheese on it. We want the cheese to be nice and delicious and melted like. So we're gonna add some of this 4 cheese blend, Mexican cheese, just as a nice little starter layer. That's a starter layer. On only one side. Put that one to the side. Next, I've selected a Swiss Finlandia imported cheese for this, direct from Market Basket. I'll put this nice 2 strips of the Finlandia. Usually a softer cheese is good for this. So like a hard cheese like a cheddar isn't usually good for a sandwich because it'll kind of like fall apart usually from my experience. If you really like cheddar, of course you can put it on. But I found that Swiss is my favorite. Swiss and provolone. And finally we'll be using some of this 1 slice of the baby Swiss. Next we're going to take this bread here and we're going to place it in the toaster. Both pieces of bread. Put one with the cheese in a toaster like this. Next thing you want to do is set it to toast. I believe I have it. Mine's weird, but it'll set like this. So let's press that button. I'm gonna press the turbo feature, and we're gonna wait for that to toast. Our bread is toasted, and the next item on the agenda is to put the ham on. With Applegate Naturals, no antibiotics ham, uncured, slow-cooked ham from Whole Foods. So, you're gonna take your ham. This is the good stuff, the stuff that is not super terrible for you. So you just wanna fold it like that. I'm gonna put 3 slices of ham. 1, 2, 3 slices of ham. We want it to be good. Put your ham away. You wanna grab your lettuce, tomato, and your onion. These are the next 3 things you're going to be doing. So I'm going to transfer the bread over to this thing. So we've got the ham and the cheese. Now we're going to do the vegetables. Now, take your knife that you just well sharpened. I've got this Santoku knife. This time we're just going to do nice little rings. Thin little rings here. So take your onions, place them on your sandwich like so. Next thing, we're gonna go and grab our tomato thing. This is an heirloom tomato. We're gonna cut down the center with this one. This is the way that I do it. I cut a V down the middle like this to cut out that top. You get that part out, there's a little bit of extra because there's a top portion and that bottom portion you want to get rid of. So you just take a nice V like that. Now we're gonna do nice, even strokes. When you're cutting a tomato like this, just simple strokes, just like this. See, these nice little pieces, we'll be putting them back on. So see, if you're looking at the sandwich now, it'll show you're gonna see 3 layers. You're gonna see the cheese, 4 layers. The cheese, followed by the ham, followed by the onion, followed by the tomato. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab our lettuce. I'm using this delicious Gotham greens. So make sure you put the lettuce on just like so. You would think that we're done, but what brings a sandwich from good to great is the condiments and the dressings and the things that you're gonna put on this piece of toasted bread right here. So I'm gonna clear this place up and we'll be right back. The way that you dress it is critical. This takes about maybe a minute and a half, but it'll take your sandwich from good to great. I always like to put on some mustard, spread some of the mustard onto the sandwich like this. I chose to use Grey Poupon mustard. This is an excellent mustard. You can also use some other mustards as well, evenly distributed. Next, we're gonna do mayo, and unfortunately we can't use the same knife for the mayo, so we're gonna have to get another knife because we don't want to get the mustard in the mayo. That would be bad. So spread some of the mayo on the sandwich like this. No ketchup. I wouldn't go with ketchup, but some nice mayo on it. Next, you have a few choices in front of you. You can choose to do oil, balsamic vinegar and oil, or you can choose to do an Italian dressing. Either will work. But I've chosen to use the Italian dressing. Just a little bit of Italian dressing on it, not too much because that'll make the breads really soggy. You don't want that. And finally, you want to take your seasoning, take that off, sprinkle a little bit of seasoning. This is called Pensie's sandwich sprinkle sandwich. Salt, garlic, black pepper, basil, oregano, rosemary, thyme, and marjoram. So if you have all those spices, then that'd be great. You can do those individually. If not, you can always find some similar sandwich type seasonings in the supermarket. Now you can close your sandwich up like so. And the final thing that we've got is our perfect, beautiful sandwich. Grab your sandwich off your plate, put it back on your cutting board. The next thing we're going to do, you could go diagonally if you'd like. I think this is the best. You can also go right down the middle. But 2 slices is usually best. 1, 2, just like that. So now we have a beautiful sandwich cut down the middle, just like that. Now, if you were gonna package it, you could just take it, fold it in some aluminum foil. That's usually the best thing you can do. Now it's time for us to head to the dining room and to enjoy this delicious sandwich that we've just made. The Earl of Sandwich created the sandwich when he wanted to be able to play cards while eating in another hand, right? Well, the sandwich is the typical meal of anyone that's trying to do 2 things at once. If you're a busy person at school or at work, the sandwich is the food for you. But does the sandwich have to be boring? No, it does not. Our sandwich, the ultimate sandwich, takes a boring thing and makes it great. I've paired this simple sandwich with a simple drink. A delicious, I was going to use regular milk, but we only had pea milk. I guess we're trying to be vegan or something. I'm not vegan, but some of my family members are. I'll be having this pea-based pea milk. We'll just pretend it's real milk. This delicious chocolate milk with some of these Menina chips. Chocolate milk is a simple drink for a simple dish. And now, of course, to taste the sandwich. Melted cheese, the ham, the layers of vegetables add crunch, and of course the dressings take it over the top. Excellent. This is a meal you'd want to take to a lunch or to a picnic. I don't know if it's necessarily date night food, but it's definitely date picnic food. This has been Cooking with Josh, Season 2, Episode 1, The Ultimate Sandwich. As they say here in America, good eats.